Call of Duty just dropped a brand new trailer for Black Ops 6 Zombies' upcoming map, The Tomb, that's coming out as a part of the new Season 2 update on January 28. We had a huge breakdown of the content recently, which I made a video about yesterday if you guys missed that, but today we've got some more details to go through because this trailer is packed full of stuff to see. So before we do that, be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all the latest videos. Alright, let's just get right into it.
Don't know how far down this place goes, but you can bet that damn artifact is all the way at the bottom.
This is not the time to reconnect with your ancestors.
Can't hide from me now.
I didn't know the wall was loaded.
Who invited the 12-foot tall cattle prod?
Get up. No one's gonna carry you out of this pit.
Memories of a nightmare, buried deep in the hush of the place.
So the new trailer for The Tomb starts with a brief overview shot of the outside of the tomb before we get to those rune gates that I discussed in yesterday's video. Treyarch had posted a gif of this rune gate sort of opening up into another area of the map, and I'm assuming that these formations will mostly serve as gates, though they may be something else as well. That's not entirely clear just yet, but maybe we'll need to actually solve these gates or some sort of mystery behind them as a part of the main quest. We can hear Weaver in the background of this shot mentioning that the tomb seems to go down really far, and that the Sentinel artifact that the core team has been searching for is definitely at the bottom, or at least that's what he believes. So the very last tier of the tomb that we know of so far is the Dark Aether Nexus, which has a really cool vibe to it. You have to go through the door to nowhere in order to get to this location, so I'm sure we'll find out more about what this door to nowhere is actually in the main quest. We also got a glimpse of some of the interior locations of the tomb itself, like the level called Tombs or the Shrine of the Hierophants. We got to look at what some of these zombie variants will look like, and as we know from the recent content reveal, there's a lot of different looks to these zombies because the tomb was a sort of intersection of cultures across the eras, with so many groups coming to this place to worship. Behind these two zombies, we can also see what looks like another type of rune portal. So we already can see that we have a red variant and now there's a green variant. Seems like this green one might lead to another area entirely, or it could be something that's part of the Easter egg quest, or both, but it's interesting to see that there is some sort of variety to these gates. We can also see some combat against the zombies and the large hordes we'll have to be dealing with. It looks like the spaces are pretty tight, lots of walls and things like that, so it's going to require a lot of quick thinking to get through the different rounds. There's also another room gate that we can see over in the left side of this frame. This one has a stranger shape, looks sort of like an arrowhead of sorts with a yellow glow to it. The gateway looks a bit different compared to the other two, so this one might possibly lead to another level. Maybe it's a sort of fast travel system back to the main spawn area or the upper excavation site. We had something similar to that in Citadel de Mort, where you could take a fast travel system back to the starting area, so something to consider there. We also got a glimpse of how those etheric lanterns work that we learned about from the content reveal in yesterday's video. I mentioned how they're supposed to be used to aid you against the zombies, and in the trailer we can see Gray firing at one of them and using it to take out a bunch of zombies nearby, so it's a nice environmental feature in my opinion that can definitely help out in a crutch. It looks like it just burns a bunch of these zombies in its vicinity. I'm not sure if this is going to be just like a standard trap or if it's going to tie into a main or side Easter egg. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see when the map actually drops. We also got a glimpse at the new perk in the tomb, which is Death Perception. I know this isn't the most popular addition to the game, but in any case, Death Perception was first released back in Black Ops 4 Zombies, and it made its way into Black Ops 6. It's basically going to allow you to detect enemies through obstacles and walls by showing you their outlines. There's also new abilities for Death Perception, including major and minor augments that you can research. These can help you find hidden things like loot, can increase the scan rate of your minimap, things like that. I broke this down in depth in yesterday's video. We saw an example of this in the trailer when Maya is firing at these zombies, and you can see the outline of them behind that wall as there are these sorts of orange silhouettes. I'm not sure if this is the best perk so far we've gotten in Zombies, because there are ones like Vulture Aid and things like that, but I'll just have to see how it works in the game itself. I mean, this map does look like it has a lot of cover and walls and tight corridors, so maybe this will actually be useful. We also got to see how those traps that you can activate work in the tomb. So there's arrow traps, and basically these shoot out arrows that take down zombies passing by. This hallway here shows how they work, and we do know that they can affect you so you can't stand in their way. It looks like this red glowing skull right there is what you use to activate the trap as well. Might not be, but it just kind of seems like it would harpy. We also got a glimpse of the subterranean temple and deep excavation levels of the tomb in this sequence here, and we can actually see how large it is, as well as the fact that there's actually a lot of spots you can probably fall off from here, so it looks like you're gonna have to be careful navigating this area. It looks like we've got a wall by here as well as this strange platform that has a crystal that looks like it's dormant on the top. It doesn't have that same bright glowing hue that most of the other crystals we've seen so far. It also looks like this is a worship area of sorts in the distance here, and it seems like this area in particular is going to be tied to the main Easter egg quest, because the way it's set up just seems like there might be a sort of puzzle to solve. Looks like there's something significant about this portion of the map in particular. So these monolithic shapes around it might be related to it, or maybe that central piece in between all those monoliths. The next shot shows us a round with the core team getting just absolutely swarmed by vermin, so this definitely looks like a vermin round, or you know, the one where the guy says tear them to pieces. Makes sense because of the yellow hue to the sky around the characters. We also got a glimpse at the new enemy type in Black Ops 6, which is the Shock Mimic. Now the Shock Mimic can disrupt your HUD and your character's vision for a brief period of time, so this is definitely crazy. It can grab you and shock you, things like that. You obviously want to avoid that sort of situation. There's also something interesting that we can see right here next to the Shock Mimic, which is an armored zombie type that has the appearance of a security guard. This is definitely something to note, because so far we've seen the other zombie types, they're very much in line with the sort of ancient fantasy, medieval secret society type vibe, and we just have this guy in tactical gear. So this might point to evidence of there having been other humans here recently, and they clearly met a very unfortunate end. What's interesting is that at this point we still haven't seen the Pack-a-Punch camos in the map yet, so what I'm guessing is that since this map is smaller in width and seems to be deeper, that you'll have to go down quite a decent amount of time before you get to the Pack-a-Punch. And what we saw from the images is that the Pack-a-Punch camo has these sorts of circular patterns on their exterior. Those monoliths from earlier can be seen up close here, and it looks like they also have that same pattern, so a nice theme that's going on with these sorts of designs. We haven't seen the Pack-a-Punch machine in the trailer yet, but we saw in the images from yesterday what the camo's first form at least looks like. It's not clear yet where the Pack-a-Punch machine will be, but it doesn't seem like it's too late in the map. It seems like this part of the map is where a lot of the action happens as well, because we see an amalgam enemy type, so yes, that has been confirmed. We also see in the next shot Maya holding the wonder weapon, which we know is the staff of ice that can be used to deal a freezing blow to zombies. There are going to be doppelgasts as well, I did forget to mention that. We also see behind Maya something interesting here, which is a red glowing rune gate, and if you look a bit closely you can see that platform that had the crystal on it is right in front of that gate, so it looks like to access this area you had to have gone through that red gate. I'm not sure yet where the green and yellow gates lead to, but maybe there's something similar to the campaign where you had to retrieve key cards that had specific colors on them in order to unlock this main elevator, so maybe we have to collect items to unlock the particular gates of different colors. We can see Maya spinning the staff and then planting it, but we don't get to see what that does in particular. They did the same thing in the season 2 reveal trailer where they had, I believe it was like Weaver or something, spinning the staff and then planting it, and then we didn't really get to see anything after that, so it's possible that this might send out like a massive wave of ice and take down a bunch of zombies at once. Not sure, but they clearly didn't want us to see what that particular feature does just yet, so we'll have to wait and see what this ability means for the gameplay. Anyways, the next shot that we see is Maya using what looks like the base feature of the ice staff, which is to blast a bunch of ice out at zombies and take them down. Something interesting I noticed in this shot as well is what looks like the statue of an amalgam or a doppelgast. I think it's an amalgam, but I can't exactly tell what it is since it's a bit broken up, but this statue seems interesting here because it looks like this wasn't the remnant of the actual enemy, but rather it looks like it was something maybe used in worship by the people that came to the tomb, so maybe some lore connection there about the importance of these particular zombies. Maybe they were worshipped once by some people. We can also see how the ice staff's second ability is, which is to actually heal your allies. So in this shot we can see that Carver is downed and Maya uses the ice staff's other end to shoot out this green wave at him and it heals him up. So that's a pretty unique feature for the staff, definitely something interesting to note there. And now we go back to the starting part of the subterranean area, which shows us the crystal once again that was previously dormant and on top of the platform of sorts. We can see that on top of this crystal is what looks like an amulet, and that this amulet was placed on it in order to shoot out this purple beam, and it seems like that portal that was red before is actually the portal that will get us into the Dark Aether Nexus area of the map, so it seems like this part is definitely tied to the main quest, no question about it. We also finally got a glimpse at what the Pack-a-Punch camo looks like. It looks really cool. It seems like this might be the final form, or at least the second form of the Pack-a-Punch camo, because the shapes on it are glowing this pink hue. There's some blue mixed in there, so either the second or third Pack-a-Punch, I'm not entirely sure. I do believe it would be the third though because of the pink. And also the first Pack-a-Punch camo is a reddish orange color from the images in the content release. So it looks like maybe this is kind of like when you max out your Pack-a-Punch. Anyways, the Dark Aether Nexus looks absolutely amazing. As I said yesterday, in the shot here we can see the strange green glowing rock of sorts, and it leads up to this strange pattern of rock formations. What's interesting here is that we can actually see what looks to be a Pack-a-Punch machine right below one of those mushroom looking jellyfish things, and that's interesting for sure. Usually Pack-a-Punch tends to come pretty early on in the Easter egg quest, so, and typically even when you just load into a standard zombies game, it leads you up to Pack-a-Punch. So if it's all the way in the Dark Aether Nexus, it's a little interesting, you know, because it doesn't seem like there's another Dark Aether level so far. But then again, they keep sort of pushing this idea that the tomb goes really, really deep and that none of the characters, nobody really knows just how deep this thing actually goes. So does that mean that there's more Dark Aether levels? Is this the only one? Since this map was designed similar to Liberty Falls in mind, does this mean that the final fight of sorts takes place in this area of the map? We don't really know. There's also this interesting rock formation in the back. Is that tied to maybe another Dark Aether location? We don't know. We didn't really see any gates in this area other than the gate that you actually come into this area with. So kind of interesting, some stuff to think about there. We don't get much else because it immediately cuts to the logo of the tomb with Sir Archibald talking in the background, but there's definitely a lot to take in from that brief trailer that we got. I personally am very excited for this map. I think that there's a lot of potential for it, and I hope it's going to be even more fun than anything we've gotten so far, or at least as fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'll wrap things up there. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to all so you can stay up to date with all the latest uploads. Share this video and comment below what your theories are on the trailer we've seen so far and what you guys think about what we're seeing, because I want to know if you guys may have spotted something else and if you have your own ideas on the tomb. And that's all for today, folks.